what you think of the new guy?
Like him. Helped us get off to that 16-0 start. I thought our, kind of what we envisioned, our physicality, his activity, um, you know, size. You just felt it. I don't know if you guys felt it out there. I sure did. Um, Big reason we got off to that good start.
How intrigued are you by the possibilities that he gives you at both ends?
And I'm thinking, you get Isaac and Dean back. Now you got, who knows? Not to get ahead of ourselves, but you could play DeAndre at the 2, Dean at the 3, Isaac at the 4. Any combination of those guys with Don or so, just gives us another, elite defensive wing who makes threes, and he's low usage too. He just keeps it simple and makes the right play. Really good debut for him.
Because we've seen a lot from Evan Mobley's development this season, but tonight it felt like he brought it all together, two-way, kind of bringing it what he's kind of been expected to do this season.
He kind of dominated, right? I loved how aggressive he was. Really aggressive in every paint, threes, transition, pushing the ball. I thought, after that injury, he had a little bit of a lull there and a little bit of a. It's taken him a little bit of time to get back to, his kind of peak performances here. But he's back. That was impressive.
What do you think about Donovan kind of going at his old teammate in Rudy a couple times?
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, that's what these guys do. They enjoy competition. You always enjoy going against your ex team and trying to show how good you are.
Cam?
This morning, Jared Allen said that he had a hard time envisioning what you might do with DeAndre Hunter because it was going to be creative no matter what it was. And so for you, was tonight enough to maybe get those creative juices flowing? Were you starting to think about ways that you are going to be able to utilize him?
That was part of it. Obviously locked into the game, but where can we use? I mean, even when I got, the board for the out of timeout, I'm like, where can we, use him? Where can we get him the ball? And that's going to take time, but first game already have some good ideas. He came off that DHO and hit that 3, so you're looking for actions that are going to help him get going. Like I said, good debut. Good for us coaches to get a little more of a feel of how he can help us.
Yeah.
How differently, when you have somebody that's still picking up on things, the terminology, all that stuff like DeAndre is, how differently do you have to game plan or have to coach around him when he's so early in this process? I'd say both sides, he was almost perfect in terms of coverage, in terms of principles. It wasn't usually when you have a new guy, oh man, he didn't, he didn't know that or he didn't know that. So real credit to him and then our assistant coaches who got him up to speed. But quick learners in this league, you can see he's one of them. No real breakdowns tonight in terms of game plan stuff. And then Sam hit 3 more threes tonight. Seems like he's found his rhythm again. What have you seen from him lately?
Oh, we just look at him as a defensive stopper. I mean, it's a bonus, I know he's a heck of a shooter, and it seems like he's got his rhythm back, no more of those bad misses. When he was struggling a little bit, he had some bad misses. Every shot you feel is going in. But I love, we stick him on Anthony Edwards, for stretches, and I didn't feel like we got hurt, with that, when he was on him. So he's, I said at the beginning, he's a rotation player. He's just in our rotation. If he made shots or, missed shots, really important to our team.
Mike?
Obviously, DeAndre's first game today, and he's played with time in the past, but you mentioned pregame, trying to figure out which guys he kind of gels with better and whatnot. How long does it take you to actually see that on court to figure out he's got a natural chemistry with player X or player Y?
It's gonna take a while, and that's gonna be a big one. And then, when we got to integrate Dean and Isaac too, like where does he fit with them? Is he 2, 3, 4? maybe small ball five. With his side, you're thinking of all the possibilities, and is he going to kind of bond with Ty? Is that something with is it, like I said pregame, is it Evan and Don, that combination? So it's going to take a while. I can't give you a number, but it's definitely going to take a while to figure where he exactly fits best.
Coach, I'm curious, on a night like tonight when you jump onto a big lead early, from a coaching standpoint, how do you strike that balance between just keeping that intensity and discipline to finish through the line before they jump back?
We have such a mature team. Like I don't. They know, like we're 16-0 and they're just on each other in the timeouts. Like, come on, man, let's keep it going. How long can we extend this? Keep the communication up. So pretty good. I don't know what the third quarter. Third quarter I thought there was slippage, and we talked about let's come out in the third quarter, and it's still an improvement area. I think it's our worst quarter this year, so that's the slippage we got to fix, and then it feels like the fourth quarter comes and they turn it back on. But again, mature group, they hold each other accountable, and I don't really have to say much, so glad they stayed on it, even though we had that big lead.
Is there a big vocal leader who's the one who really steps up in the top?
Yeah, Don's what's it, equilibrium? Like he's just kind of like, and get too high, doesn't get too low. He stays on the guys. I'd love to hear our big guys talk a little more. Evan and J.A., but they're kind of in the background. It's usually Don. DG will chime in. Ty, when he's in there with his group. But that was my favorite. But 16-0, we've seen it in the NBA. 16-0, they're going to come back. They're going to tie it. It's going to be a tough game. But we pretty much wire to wire, stayed locked in, and it was 20 points pretty much the whole game against Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves. That's pretty darn good.
Joe?
On a night like tonight, I don't ever want to make this sound like you let a guy score, but with Edwards going off for 44, but they're down all these injuries. Is it a night where you know that he's going to look for his and you want to make sure nobody else beats you?
A little bit that. I also in a game like this, we do want to see different coverages, so we definitely tried that. But with a 20-point lead, you can experiment a little more. So we blitzed them. We played a box and one once, played zone. None of it worked. I mean, arrested Anthony Edwards is like a coach's worst nightmare. He sat in last game, and I knew he was going to come out firing, and he's just an unbelievable player, and you're on his body, you contain his trade, then he hits that step back, and it's like some of those you just have, there's nothing you can do. But we definitely showed different looks at him. Give us a C+ in terms of slowing him down. He did have 7 turnovers. I look at the plus minus always. I think -12. So we'll kind of live.
Spence?
In terms of Evan's development, just the patience that he has too when he catches the ball, how far he's come with that, because sometimes big guys, they've got the size and you think they can go right away, but it feels like he's got kind of that pump fake and the footwork really working there inside.
I love his gathers, like when he gets it in the paint now, and J.A. does it too. They gather on 2 feet, they pivot, and they find the open guy. I love they blitz, I think Donovan, they threw it to Evan in the pocket. They swarmed Evan, and he threw it to Jalen in the corner for a corner 3. Like those are like, it's like quarterback reads, right? Like what's the right read? And I think he had 1 turnover tonight. Like his decision making is really, really good, and a lot of it is his fundamentals. And like you said, he's comfortable. He's more patient, not just kind of barreling through and getting to the rim. Really plays off 2 feet well, sees the court really well.
And then even off ball, him and J.A. just making themselves available tonight too. It looked like the guards and the bigs were really on the same page there on the baseline.
Yeah, they got great chemistry with DG and Don. Whether it's playing in the dunker or playing in the pick and roll, so they got They have great chemistry.
Nate.
Hey Kenny,
Hey, Nate.
not specifically about DeAndre's debut, but just kind of a big picture question about training for him. Like with your record as good as it was, you know, some franchises may have felt like we don't need to do anything, but do you appreciate being aggressive and going for it when you have a chance to get better?
Yes. That's what I told Kobe. I mean, you know, we talked about how hard it was losing guys. You know, you're 41-9, but you know, it's like, whew. And I think all the credit goes to Kobe. Like he was aggressive, and I second it. You know, and I said, man, let's go for this. But it takes an aggressive, you know, GM to do that. I think, you know, could have easily stood pat and really he was really forward and aggressive and getting me the information, getting our staff the information, so we were comfortable with it. But he just, whether it works out or it doesn't, like I loved how he approached this and kind of went for it.
Last two, Jason and then Jim.
You're talking, Joe, about throwing different defensive coverages and I've seen a lot of coaches that try and play very vanilla during the regular season and they don't want to show anything, they want to say everything in the playoffs. You seem to have gone completely the other way, where you'll just play a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
They're a Western Conference team, I get it, but is that because this is your first time with them, or why is it that you like to just experiment now and throw everything now and not worry about it?
Yeah, it's a little bit my DNA. I like changing defenses. I like giving different looks, so that just as a base. But I think with this team, you know, I think they were, you know, kind of a basic coverage team, you know, last year, and I just feel like you got to practice it in live play. I think you gotta bring it out in the regular season, whether teams see it or not. So we have a big package of adjustments, and we practice it. We did one and shoot around this morning, and that's part of my playoff experience. I think working with you know, some championship coaches. I love to Ty Lue one. You know, he said, you know, you work on a playoff adjustment a day. You know, you're always working on something because you never know when you're going to need it. But I really believe you got to do it in live play, not just in practice. And you know, we do it a lot.
Close to that, Jim.
You mentioned the bigs communicating a little bit more, and it looked like Donovan was talking to Jared at some point about working through some communication things. What's that? Where are they at, Evan and Jared, in that journey of becoming more vocal?
They need to be better. Like it's not their strength, and we as part of our you know, we kind of have this new, you know, this playoff focus where we need to get to the next level. That was one of the bullet points on our PowerPoint to the guys. Like communication is one, you know, a big one, and we're just okay, and those guys got to get better. So it's funny, we talked, and tonight it was better. But we still had some screw ups, and sometimes with those guys, they want to be perfect in the coverage, and you know, our message to them, it's you guys are the quarterbacks. You're not going to be perfect, just be decisive. And sometimes that's not their personality. So I think that's the next step for them. I was giving the Draymond Green example. I know Draymond's an extrovert, and that's his nature, but they got to get out of their comfort zone. I think it will really help our defense.